today on Rappler. Former Iloilo City Mayor Jed Mabilog faces the public after self-exile for 7 years. Alice Guo's signature does not match the signature on her counter affidavit notarized by lawyer Elmer Galicia. The Office of the Ombudsman dismisses cases against former Cebu City Mayor Tomas Osmeña filed by Royina Garma. Davao journalists condemn the abuse from followers of Apollo Kibuloy. Police arrest 2 primary suspects in the case of missing beauty queen contestant Catherine Camilon. And Israel says it is entering a new era of war in Gaza as jets and artillery hit multiple targets in southern Lebanon. Former Iloilo City Mayor Jed Mabilog reveals, besides security concerns, he sought asylum in the United States to prevent the Duterte administration from falsely linking former Senators Roxas and Franklin Drilon to illegal drugs. He flew overseas in 2017 after he was included in former President Rodrigo Duterte's narco list. Mabilog says when he was in Japan, then Philippine National Police Chief Bato de la Rosa called him and told him to come home. But shortly after the call, another unnamed PNP general called and warned him that if he comes home, he will be forced to point fingers at an opposition senator and a former presidential candidate as drug lords. In the House hearing, Mabilog was asked if the 2 personalities he was referring to were Drilon and Roxas. He said yes. Mabilog's name was not part of the original drug list but was only included later on. The National Bureau of Investigation says dismissed Bamban Mayor Alice Guo's signature does not match the signature on her counter affidavit signed by lawyer Elmer Galicia. NBI confirms to Rappler that the results of its dactyloscopy examination shows a signature mismatch. Guo's notarized affidavit is essential in piecing together information on how she escaped. Authorities say Guo left the country as early as July, but she was still able to file an affidavit with the Justice Department in August. The law requires the notary public to personally see the client at the time of notarization. Galicia earlier claimed he personally saw Guo when he notarized the document. But Guo's arrest in Indonesia serves as undeniable proof she wasn't present during the notarization. The DOJ earlier warned the Supreme Court may impose penalties on Galicia. The Office of the Ombudsman dismisses the criminal and administrative cases against former Cebu City Mayor Tomas Osmeña filed by retired Police Colonel Royina Garma in 2018. Garma was the director of the Cebu City Police Office at the time. She filed a case for grave misconduct against Osmeña, alleging the former mayor intervened in the arrest of 3 men. The Ombudsman ruled on February 29 Osmeña was guilty of grave misconduct. But since he was no longer a government official, Osmeña was then ordered to pay a fine amounting to his basic salary for 1 year when he was the mayor. But in the reversal of the ruling dated July 10, 2024, the Ombudsman says Garma failed to prove that Osmeña facilitated the escape of the 3 men. Osmeña blamed Garma for the rise in killings in the city when he was mayor. Davao-based journalists decried the disinformation and maltreatment at the hands of followers of Apollo Kibuloy when police were searching for the preacher at the sprawling Kingdom of Jesus Christ compound in Davao City. The harassment happened during the 16-day standoff at the KOJC compound, which began on August 24 and lasted until September 8. Journalists, photographers, and radio reporters filed reports of the abuse in police blotters. In a strongly worded statement, at least 42 journalists and heads of local media organizations in Davao City declare it is not our role to carry your propaganda line or push your agenda. They add, our bias is for the truth. The journalists also criticized Councilor Bons Militar, chair of the Davao City Council's Committee on Information and Technology, for his behavior during the standoff. You are barking up the wrong tree. Let us in the media do our jobs. Police arrested 2 primary suspects linked to the case of missing beauty queen contestant Catherine Camilon. Dismissed cop Alan De Castro and his bodyguard driver Jeffrey Magpantay are arrested in separate manhunt operations in Barangay Caloocan, Balayan, Batangas on September 14. The 2 are facing charges of kidnapping and serious illegal detention, which were initially dismissed last April 16. Camilon's family filed a motion for reconsideration last May 23, which was granted on August 15. De Castro and Magpantay are currently detained at the Balayan Custodial Facility. Camilon was last seen October 12, 2023 and was reported missing 5 days later. Israel's military says Israeli jets and artillery hit multiple targets in southern Lebanon overnight, Thursday, September 19. This follows the mass attack on Hezbollah through exploding pagers and walkie-talkies, where dozens were killed and thousands wounded. Israeli forces have been exchanging fire with Iranian-backed Hezbollah for months at the border with southern Lebanon. On Wednesday, Hezbollah fired around 20 projectiles into Israel. Most were intercepted by air defense systems. On Wednesday, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said its operations in Gaza were moving into a new era of war, with the focus now shifting to the northern border. And that's today's wrap. I'm Kara Oliver. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. Follow us on Rappler's YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok.